Welcome to the Roy English Talk, where we turn language barriers into bridges. I'm your host, Natasha D., and today's episode is one many of you have been begging for: how to understand fast native English speakers. Have you ever watched a movie or listened to a podcast in English and felt like the characters were speaking a completely different language, even though you technically know the vocabulary? They'll say something like, "What you gonna do?" or "Did you see it?" And suddenly, your brain hits a wall. You're pausing, rewinding, maybe even checking the subtitles, thinking, how did that become those words? Sound familiar? You're not alone. In fact, this is one of the most common and frustrating moments for English learners. You know the grammar, you've memorized the vocabulary, but when a native speaker opens their mouth and just goes off, you feel totally lost. Here's the thing: it's not just about speed. That's the biggest myth we're going to bust today. In this video, we're diving deep into the real reasons native English sounds so fast, and more importantly, how you can finally understand it. No generic advice, no magic apps, just powerful, practical tools that actually work. So why does English feel so fast? Why do native speakers seem to skip words or mash them together? How can you train your brain to recognize what's being said, even when it sounds like a blur? And is it possible to reach a point where fast English feels easy? Hi, I'm Host. I've worked with thousands of English learners around the world, and today I'm going to show you exactly what they did to unlock native speed English, and how you can do it too. We're going to talk about what really makes English challenging to follow, things like reductions, linking, rhythm, and how English is actually spoken in the real world, not textbook English. By the end of this video, I want you to feel like your ears are finally tuned in, like the fog is lifting, like you don't have to fear fast conversations anymore. This isn't about perfection, it's about confidence. And once you know how to listen the right way, native English becomes not just understandable, but exciting. So if you're ready to finally understand what fast native speakers are really saying, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Section 2. Why native English feels so fast. Let's start with a moment every English learner knows too well. You're watching a show in English, no subtitles. A character opens their mouth and starts talking. And suddenly it's like someone hit fast forward. The words just melt together. You catch maybe one or two, but the rest? A blur. You pause, rewind, try again, still too fast. Why does this happen? Are native English speakers just talking incredibly fast on purpose? Here's the truth. Native English often feels fast, but in most cases, they're not speaking faster than people in other languages. Spanish, for example, is spoken at a faster syllabic rate. So why does English sound like it's on turbo mode? The answer lies in how English is structured and how it's naturally spoken. English is a stress-timed language, unlike languages that are syllable-timed, like French or Spanish. English is stress-timed. That means we don't give equal time to each syllable. Instead, we stress certain words, usually the important content words, and rush through the rest. Take this sentence: I want to go to the store. A native speaker might say, I wanna go to store. Notice how the to gets shortened to tia or disappears entirely? That's stress timing at work. The time between stressed words stays the same, so everything in between gets compressed. If you're listening for each word to be said clearly and separately, you'll miss a lot. It's like expecting to hear every beat in a song that's designed to have rhythm and flow. Native speakers use tons of reductions. This one is huge. In written English, we're taught to say every word properly. But in natural spoken English, people are lazy and efficient. Words get mashed together. Sounds disappear. Here are a few common reductions. What are you doing? What you doing? Did you eat yet? Jeet yet? I don't know. I don't know. These changes aren't sloppy. They're normal. Native speakers have internalized them since childhood, and they're completely acceptable in casual conversation. But for learners, it sounds like a secret. Language. Linking makes it even trickier. Native English speakers are masters of linking. They don't pause between words. Instead, the end of one word connects smoothly to the beginning of the next. Examples: pick it up, turn it off, turn it off, get out of here, gadoo to here, if. You've only heard textbook English, where every word is spaced out. This kind of blending will completely throw you off. But it's just how we speak. Your ears have to be trained to hear pick it up as 3 words, not one strange sound. Accents and styles. Vary. Wildly. Another reason. English feels fast is because it changes constantly based on geography, American versus British versus Australian English, formality, speaking to your boss versus your best friend, speed of the situation, fast dialogue in TV shows, songs, arguments. You might finally understand an American YouTuber, only to feel lost again watching a British sitcom. That's totally normal. Your brain needs exposure to variety. The same phrase can sound completely different in different accents. That's why one-size-fits-all strategies don't work. Your brain is doing too much at once. Here's a hidden challenge. When you're listening to fast English, your brain is working overtime. It's not just decoding vocabulary. It's trying to understand grammar on the fly, interpret tone and emotion, make sense of the context, manage background noise, and deal with your own stress. That's a lot, and when you're overwhelmed, your comprehension drops. You might miss easy words just because your brain is on overload. So, are native speakers really speaking fast? Yes and no. They're speaking naturally. That means using rhythm, reductions, linking, and emotional tone. They're speaking in chunks, not perfect little word-by-word sentences. To your ears, it sounds fast. But the good news? Once you understand the why, you can train your ears to hear what's actually being said. You'll start recognizing patterns. You'll expect the reductions. You'll anticipate the linking, and your brain will stop panicking. Fast English will start to feel normal. Section 3. Myth busting. It's not about speed. Let's clear something up right now. Understanding fast native English has almost nothing to do with your ability to process speed. That's one of the biggest myths out there, and it's probably slowing down your progress. Most learners believe the problem is speed. They say, if native speakers would just slow down, I'd understand everything. But here's the truth. If you take a recording of a native English speaker and slow it down, it doesn't magically become easier. Sure, you'll hear the sounds more clearly, but you'll probably still feel lost. Why? Because the real problem isn't speed. It's how English is naturally spoken. Let's break this myth down and replace it with something that will actually help you. Native speakers don't speak. Word by word, as a learner, you've been trained to think of English as a sequence of separate words. You memorize vocabulary. You practice sentence structures. You repeat each word clearly. But native speakers don't do that. They speak in phrases, also called chunks, where the words flow into each other. So instead of saying, I do not know what he is saying, they say, I don't know what he's saying. Sounds completely different, right? That's not speed. That's connected speech. And unless you're trained to recognize these phrases as whole units, they'll sound like one big, fast mess. Why listening? Word by word. Doesn't work if your listening strategy is to hear each word individually. You're setting yourself up for failure. English simply doesn't work like that in conversation. Imagine trying to read by identifying each individual letter instead of full words. It would be painfully slow and confusing. That's what happens when you try to decode fast English word by word. Stewing. Real solution is learning to recognize patterns, chunks, and combinations. When you train your brain to expect how native speakers compress phrases, everything gets clearer, even if the speed stays the same. Slowing it down doesn't make it easier. Here's the weird part. Even if a native speaker slows down their sentence, you might still not understand. Why? Because you're still not familiar with how the language is supposed to sound when it's connected. You might hear all the syllables, but if the patterns are unfamiliar, it won't click. Also, when native speakers slow down, it sounds robotic and unnatural. That's not how real conversations happen. You might understand them more easily, but it won't help you when you go back to movies, interviews, or group chats where people speak normally. The real focus: improve processing, not speed instead. Of chasing the idea of slowing English down, shift your goal to improving your processing power. Train your brain to catch phrases like, "What are you up to? Let me see it." You know what I mean? Once those become automatic, you'll be able to understand fast English without even noticing the speed. It's like turning on subtitles in your brain. One more thing: confidence beats speed. Here's a final myth to crush. You don't need to understand 100% to be successful. Native speakers don't understand every word either. We rely on context, tone, and prediction. So should you. In the next section, I'll show you the 5 biggest listening obstacles most learners face and give you real tools to break through each one. Because fast English isn't a wall you can't climb, it's a puzzle. And I'm going to give you the pieces. Section 4, the 5 key obstacles. If you've ever thought, "I'll never understand native English, it's just too fast," let me tell you something important. It's not your fault. Most learners don't struggle because they're bad at English. They struggle because nobody ever showed them the specific things that make native English hard to follow. So let's fix that. Here are the 5 key obstacles that make native speech feel fast and impossible to understand, and what each one really means. Hakio. Contractions. They're everywhere. You've probably learned contractions like I'm or don't, but in real speech, they show up in wild combinations you weren't taught. Examples: she would have told you. She'd have told ya. I could have gone. I could have gone. He's going to do it. He's gonna do it. The problem is your brain is looking for complete forms, but native speakers are dropping half the syllables. The solution? Train your ear to expect the contraction version first. Start recognizing would've, shoulda, gonna, wanna as normal English, not slang. Linking. Words stick together. We covered this earlier, but let's go deeper. Linking is when one word ends with a consonant and the next starts with a vowel. They just connect. Examples: check it out, check it out, turn it on, pick it up, pick it up. To a learner, this sounds like one long, unfamiliar word. But it's just 3 words linked smoothly. You can practice this by taking short phrases and speaking them out loud until they feel natural. Listening is step 1. Repeating is step 2. Reductions. The words that disappear. This one's sneaky. Some words don't just shrink, they vanish. Examples: going to, gonna, want to, wanna, did you, do you, or dja, got to, gotta, let me, if you listen. For did you eat? And hear jeet, your brain will think it's a new word entirely. But it's not. It's just a reduced phrase. These are everywhere in casual speech, and recognizing them gives you a huge edge in understanding fast conversations. Intonation. The music of English is not just about words. It's about how the words are said. Intonation tells you, is this a question? Is the speaker angry, confused, excited, sarcastic? What's the most important word in the sentence? Compare. You saw him? Surprised. You saw him? Shocked it wasn't someone else. You saw him, not someone else. Same words, different meaning, all based on tone. Many learners focus only on vocabulary, but understanding the speaker's emotional tone is just as important. Filler words and hesitation. The noise that tricks. Real conversations are full of, like, well, these don't carry much meaning, but they can distract you and make sentences sound longer and messier than they really are. Example? He was kind of just, there watching. If you're trying to decode every single word, filler phrases like, and like will throw you off. The fix? Learn to recognize and ignore them. These don't need translation. Your brain just needs permission to skip them. They're noise, not the message. Bonus. These obstacles happen together. Let's look at this sentence. Did you want to come with us? Now listen to it how it's actually said. Do you want to come with us? What just happened? Do you want to, wanna, with us, with is, linking and sound blending. 3 of our obstacles in just one sentence. And if you weren't expecting that reduction, you'd probably miss the meaning. Even if you know every word. That's why these 5 areas are so important. They don't happen in isolation. They layer together. And they're what make English sound like a blur to learners. What do you do about it? Here's the good news. These obstacles are patterns. Once you recognize them, you can practice and beat them one by one. You don't need perfect grammar. You don't need to memorize thousands of new words. You need listening strategies that train your brain to predict reductions, hear linked sounds, ignore filler words, understand tone, spot the real words inside messy speech. And we're going to show you how. Because once you learn to hear what's really going on, you'll stop fearing fast English. You'll start owning it. Section 5. Step-by-step listening strategy. By now, you know the 5 big obstacles that make fast native English so tricky. Now it's time to do something about it. In this section, I'm going to give you a step-by-step listening strategy that actually works. It's not about sitting through long, boring audio. It's about training your ears and your brain to catch real spoken English the way native speakers use it every day. Let's break it down. Step 1. Choose real, understandable. Audio forget the textbook CDs. You want real, unscripted English. Podcasts, YouTube interviews, movie scenes, even TikToks. But here's the trick. Don't choose something that's way above your level. The best material is real, unscripted or natural dialogue. Repetitive, topics or speakers you can follow. Subtitled, optional. For review, not while listening. You want to hear the language in action, but at a level where you can actually make progress. Good sources. TEDx talks with conversational speakers. Podcast episodes with native banter, like Stuff You Should Know or The Daily. Movie scenes you already know, like from Marvel, Harry Potter, or Friends Step 2. Listen without subtitles. First listen without subtitles. Why? Because your brain has to struggle a little to grow. This is called active listening. You're focusing 100% on sounds, intonation, and patterns, not reading. Here's what to do. Listen to a 30-60-second clip. Pause it. Ask yourself, what words did I catch? What was the tone? Repeat the same clip to try and catch more the second time. You're building muscle memory for your ears. Step 3. Turn on subtitles and check now play the same clip again, with subtitles on, and compare. This is where the light bulbs go off. You'll realize what words you missed and why, where linking or reductions happened, what patterns your brain is still not catching. Write down 2 to 3 expressions or reductions that were surprising. Then play the clip again. This time, say the lines out loud as you hear them. Step 4. Shadowing. Speak what you hear. This is one of the most powerful techniques language learners use. It's called shadowing. You play a short sentence and immediately repeat it out loud, mimicking the speaker's pronunciation, speed, and rhythm. Example. Audio. What are you up to? You. What are you up to? Benefits. Trains your tongue to move like a native speaker, builds fluency and confidence, helps you hear and feel reductions and links. Do this 5 to 10 minutes a day, and your comprehension will improve. Fast. Start with easier audio, then move to natural speed clips once your mouth keeps up. Step 5. Break it down, build it back. Choose a short clip, maybe 20 seconds. Here's your training circuit. Listen without subtitles. Write down what you think you heard. Turn on subtitles and correct. Repeat the clip multiple times. Say the lines with the speaker. Say the lines alone. Record yourself and compare. This sounds like work, because it is. But it's also laser-focused, high-efficiency training. Instead of guessing what's wrong, you're fixing your listening issues directly. Step 6. Track what you're learning. Create a simple notebook or notes. App list. Every time you find a reduction you didn't expect, a phrase that linked in a new way, an idiom or common chunk, write it down. Example. Lemme. Let me. Outa. Out of whatcha. What are you? Over time, you'll build a personal dictionary of fast English phrases, and you'll start to recognize them in real time because your brain has seen them before. Step 7. Mix passive and active. Active listening is focused training, but passive listening is important too. It's the background listening you do while walking, cooking, cleaning. Think of passive listening like vitamin D for your brain. It builds familiarity. You won't remember everything, but it warms up your ears to natural rhythms and speech styles. A powerful routine. Morning, 10 minutes shadowing. Afternoon, podcast while walking. Evening, movie scene. Plus, breakdown mix. Both styles and your progress will skyrocket. Step 8. Practice patience, not perfection. Here's what trips up most learners. They expect too much too soon. Native level listening takes time. Even fluent speakers miss words when the sound quality is bad or the accent is unfamiliar. So don't get frustrated when you don't understand everything. Instead, get excited when you catch a phrase you used to miss. Understand a joke in AL. TV show realize Lemmy means let me without translating. Those are huge wins. Celebrate them. Final tip. Choose a core speaker, pick one. YouTuber, one actor, one podcast host, and listen to them consistently for a few weeks. Why? Because your brain learns best with repetition. You'll get used to their speed, style, vocabulary, and that familiarity builds confidence. Once you master one speaker's rhythm, moving to others gets easier. This strategy isn't just a tip, it's a roadmap. If you follow these steps regularly, even 15-20 minutes a day, you'll start noticing a huge difference in a matter of weeks. You won't just hear sounds, you'll hear meaning. And that's when English stops being fast and starts feeling fluent. Section 6. Real examples with breakdown. Now that you understand the theory behind fast native English, it's time to put it into practice. In this section, I'll walk you through real spoken phrases, break down exactly how they sound when spoken by native speakers, and show you how to recognize each element we've talked about so far: linking, reductions, contractions, and intonation, all working together. Example 1. Did you eat yet? What you expect? Did you eat yet? What you actually hear? Jeet, yet? What's happening here? Did you? DJ. Linking and reduction merge it into one sound. Eat yet stays, but quickly blends into the phrase. This is a classic reduction. Native speakers say it so fast it sounds like one word. Jeet yet? Example 2. What are you going to do? What you expect? What are you going to undo? What you hear? What you gonna do? Breakdown. What are you? What you going to? Gonna. This is reduced and chunked. Once your brain gets used to hearing whatcha as normal, this won't sound fast anymore. It will just sound familiar. Example 3. Let me see it. What you expect. Let me see it. What you hear. Let me see it. Reduction. Let me. Let me natural rhythm keeps the pace smooth, a very common phrase in native speech, especially in casual settings. Example 4. I don't know what he said. What you expect? I do not know what he said. What you hear? I don't know what he said. Here's what's happening. Don't know. Dunno. What he. Linked speech. Plus relaxed grammar. Natural. Flow. You'll hear this in every conversation from TV to real life. Example 5. Can I help you? What you expect? Can I help you? What you hear? Canny help ya? Changes. Can I becomes canny. Help you becomes help ya. The consonant to vowel linking here makes it tough at first, but once you spot it, you'll start hearing it everywhere. The key, pattern recognition. Let's be clear, native speakers don't consciously decide to talk this way. It's automatic. It's how they grew up speaking. But for learners, recognizing the patterns in these examples is what creates the breakthrough. Because once you realize jeet means, did you eat, you stop looking for separate words. You start hearing phrases, and that's how your comprehension skyrockets. Try it yourself. Let's practice one more. Sentence, I've got to get out of here. Native version, I gotta gaduda here. Breakdown, got to, gotta, get out of, gaduda, here stays, but links into the last phrase. This is a classic example of multiple reductions and links all rolled into one sentence. It's not fast. It's compressed, and once you know how to decode it, it becomes manageable, and eventually, automatic. Repetition makes mastery. Here's your mini listening workout. Pick 5-10 real English expressions like the ones above. For each one, say, the clear version, word by word. Say the native version, how it actually sounds. Listen to it in a real conversation or clip. Record yourself repeating it. Compare your version to the native version. The goal is not perfection. The goal is training your ear to expect how English really sounds. Recap. What you've learned from these examples. Did you eat? Did you eat? What are you doing? What you doing? Let me know. Let me know. I don't know. I don't know. Get out of here. Gaduda here. These aren't just fun to learn. They're essential to understanding real-world English. Every time you watch a show or have a conversation and catch one of these phrases, your brain celebrates. It's rewiring itself to understand native rhythm, structure, and sound. That's progress you can feel. Section 7. Train your brain to predict. If you've made it this far, you're already ahead of most learners. But here's the next big leap. Understanding native English isn't just about hearing the words, it's about predicting them. Think about how native speakers listen. They're not analyzing every syllable. Their brains are constantly guessing what's coming next based on context, tone, and common patterns. That's why they can follow rapid conversations without even trying, and you can do the same. Here's how to train your brain to predict fast native English. Context is king. Let's say someone says, "I haven't seen you in..." You already know what comes next, right? A while. That's prediction. Your brain used the context of the sentence and your experience with English to fill in the blanks before the speaker said the next word. When you listen to English, your first goal should be guessing the meaning, even if you didn't catch every word. Dart 2. Start noticing common patterns. English is full of predictable phrases. Native speakers don't invent new sentences all the time. They reuse chunks like, "You know what I mean?" At the end of the day, let me get this straight. Once you've heard these a few times, your brain starts to recognize them. Eventually, you'll hear just the first word and know what's coming next. This cuts down your processing time. You're not decoding, you're anticipating. Use logic to your advantage. If someone says, "She was late because..." You don't need to hear the rest to guess the reason. Your brain can fill in possibilities like, "Of traffic? Her alarm didn't go off? She missed the train." This kind of logical guessing helps you stay engaged even when the sentence is fast. And if your guess is wrong, no problem. Your brain quickly adjusts. This is what native speakers do all the time. Practice prediction. While listening, here's a powerful activity. Watch a clip with subtitles. Pause it before the last 2 to 3 words of each sentence. Guess how the sentence will end. Play the rest and see if you were right. Even if you're wrong, the act of predicting boosts your processing power. It turns passive listening into an active workout. Don't aim for perfect accuracy. This isn't about guessing the exact word every time. It's about developing your intuition, your feeling for English rhythm, tone, and meaning. The more you listen, the stronger that feeling gets. Eventually, your brain will hear, "You gotta be..." and instantly guess, "Kidding me." That's the power of prediction. It transforms fast English into familiar patterns and helps you stay one step ahead of the conversation. Section 8. Tools that actually work. Now that you've got the strategies, it's time to add some firepower, tools that can dramatically speed up your listening progress. There's no magic app that makes you fluent overnight, but there are some seriously effective tools that help you train smarter, not harder. Let's go through the best ones and how to actually use them. YouTube playback speed and subtitles. This simple tool is incredibly powerful. Start by watching videos at normal speed. Use the playback speed feature to slow it down to 0.75x if it's too fast. Turn on auto-generated subtitles to confirm what you're hearing. Bonus tip: watch a video twice, first without subtitles, then with. On your third time, try to shadow the audio. Perfect for interviews, vlogs, language learning channels. Language Reactor, browser extension. This Chrome extension adds interactive subtitles to YouTube and Netflix. Features: subtitles in 2 languages at once. Click on a word to get instant definitions. Phrase-by-phrase playback mode. Great for breaking down movie scenes. Watching with deeper understanding, building vocabulary while training your ear. Use it to pause after every sentence and guess what's coming before checking the subtitles. This builds your prediction skills fast. Podcast apps with playback control apps like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts let you adjust speed. Some even allow replay by sentence. Best way to use: pick podcasts with casual native dialogue. Listen at normal speed, then 0.8x for clarity. Use rewind to repeat fast sections. Recommended podcasts: This American Life, storytelling. The Daily, current events, No dumb questions, natural conversations. Elsa Speak, pronunciation plus, listening. While it's known for speaking practice, Elsa Speak is also amazing for fine-tuning your listening. It breaks down sentences into small, manageable parts and lets you mimic the native pronunciation word by word. Best for shadowing, practicing reductions, building listening and speaking confidence. Fes. Subtitles, plus audio, movies. You know rewatching a movie you love, but in English is super effective. Because you already know the story, your brain has less work to do. It can focus 100% on the sounds and speech. Try this. Watch the first 10 minutes of your favorite film in English. Write down what you hear before turning on subtitles. Then compare what you thought versus what was actually said. Do this with short clips every day. It trains your listening like a gym trains your muscles. Speech recognition tools like Google Voice. Want to test if you're hearing fast English correctly? Try saying it out loud and using speech recognition to see if the software understands. If it does, you nailed the sound. If not, adjust your pronunciation and try again. Helpful for practicing phrases like wanna go or jeet yet. Confirming what fast English actually sounds like. Final thought. Don't let tools replace practice. These tools are powerful, but they don't replace consistent listening and speaking practice. Use them to support your learning, not replace it. Even 15 minutes a day with the right tool can give you the edge. Combine that with the strategies we've covered, and your listening will improve way faster than just watching Netflix with subtitles. Section 9. Motivation and Progress Mindset. Let's pause for a second, not to review grammar, but to remind you of something incredibly important. Learning to understand fast native English is not a talent, it's a skill. And like any skill, it gets better the more you work at it, even if it doesn't feel like it. You might think, why can't I understand yet? This is taking forever. Everyone else gets it but me. But here's the truth. Every fluent speaker once struggled exactly like you. Everyone felt slow, confused, and frustrated. And then, things started clicking. It doesn't happen all at once. It happens in tiny moments. You hear a phrase you used to miss, and this time, you get it. You catch the meaning of a joke without subtitles. You realize you're not translating anymore. You're just understanding. That's progress. You won't see improvement every single day, but your brain is absorbing and adapting constantly. Every minute you listen, repeat, and shadow, you're leveling up. So instead of aiming for perfection, aim for persistence. Remember, mistakes mean you're trying. Frustration means you're growing. Confusion means you're on the edge of clarity. The learners who win aren't the ones with perfect accents. They're the ones who don't give up when it feels hard. So be kind to yourself. Take breaks, celebrate small wins, and trust the process. You're not stuck. You're becoming fluent, one moment at a time. You've made it to the end, and by now, you're not just listening to fast English. You're understanding it. Here's what to do next. Pick one strategy from this video and try it today. Just 10 minutes of focused practice can make a real difference. Choose one speaker or show to follow consistently. The more you listen to one voice, the faster your brain adapts. Use tools like playback speed, shadowing, and subtitles, but don't rely on them forever. Let them support your journey, not control it. Write down what surprises you. New phrases, weird reductions, things you didn't expect. That's how your brain creates new pathways, and most importantly, keep going. Fluency doesn't come from watching one video. It comes from steady progress day after day. Fast English isn't a wall. It's a rhythm, and now you know how to move with it. If this helped you, drop a like and hit subscribe for more real-world English strategies, and share this with a friend who's ready to level up. Your ears are stronger than you think. Now go test them.